I saw an opportunity to build a community that supports learning, that supports inclusion, that supports professional growth. I also wanted to say, cybersecurity is like a community game. It's a sport where you cannot win alone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CyberSec Migrant, where we dive into all things cybersecurity, career growth, and leadership. And today I have a very special guest joining me, someone who is not only a cybersecurity professional, but also a pillar of the industry. Raphael Adeyemo. And did I also mention he's an immigrant? We both happen to come from the great, beautiful country of Nigeria, and he has a lot to share. He's a seasoned risk management professional. He has over 15 years of experience that covers IT risk management, cyber resilience, digital investigation, service delivery, process optimization, strategy, digital transformation across various sectors, which include banking, insurance, energy, technology, and even academia. Currently, he has a 9-to-5 daytime role as the Senior Manager of Technology Risk Management at Manulife, but he's also the President and the Chair of the Board of Directors of the ISC2 Toronto Chapter, which is I dare say, the largest chapter in Canada and one of the most active chapters in Canada. And he has strengthened the chapter's presence in Canada. In fact, last year we had a virtual conference for all the chapters, and he was one of the big brains and driving forces behind that. He's also committed to education and thought leadership. He is an adjunct professor at Conestoga College. He's a program advisory council member at Northeastern University, Toronto. He served on the Harvard Business Review Advisory Board. In terms of academics, in terms of education, he holds a dual MBA from Cornell University and Queen's University, and he also holds a digital leadership certificate from Cornell University as well. So his expertise bridges cybersecurity, risk management, and business strategy. So it's tripartite. It makes him a key contributor to organizational resilience and industry advancement. Raphael, welcome to CyberSec Migrant.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That was a very impressive profile.
Oh my God.
That's very impressive. That's very impressive.
We are still building more, though. Yeah.
I like that. You inspire me every day. I would say that you're one of the people who I look up to. When I look at immigrants, particularly those of us of Nigerian origin, who are in the cybersecurity industry here in Canada, you're one of the people who's, I know LinkedIn has those lists of top 50, top 5, but I think you're like number one for all of us. You're a role model for many of us, and we're very happy about that. So thank you for all what you do. For the audience, grab a coffee, sit back, and let's get into today's episode. So for today, I want to start with a couple of questions. First, I want to start at the very beginning. What inspired you to move into cybersecurity?
Thanks so much, and thank you for those beautiful words you just said about me. I think my journey into cybersecurity started shortly before I left Nigeria in 2018, right? So I belong to one of these WhatsApp group for immigrants. After you've received your ITA, you have to join the group, you have to mingle and network with other people. Then conversation started flowing like, okay, these are the jobs, these are the roles that are, paying well in Canada. I wanted to go to Calgary. So if you're moving to Calgary straight from Nigeria, you needed to think. Then I was thinking, what will I like to do? I've been in IT 8 years before that time, right out of school, even though I studied engineering. I have another degree in physics, but I've been in IT doing service delivery, and I was getting tired of it. Then I wanted something else. So when I got to Canada, I consulted widely. I didn't just, go straight into cybersecurity. I spoke with a few people. But what really fascinated me was the fact that just like service delivery, you're going to be interfacing with people, maybe not directly, but you're going to be doing something very important, keeping them safe, keeping people, keeping organizations secure. So that was something that I found to be very, intriguing. Like, okay, so I'll be responsible for ensuring the safety of people, the safety of their digital assets, and also maintaining trust. Because if I'm going to do a security for you, then you have to trust me. So that was something that really made me like, okay, this is something that I would like to spend the next few years of my life, doing. And I didn't just, jump straight into it. I met with a couple of people, like finding out information about, okay, so what would be the best way for me? I was not looking for the easiest. I was looking for the best. I was looking for one that would be a smart move, so to say, for somebody coming from, with an IT background and pivoting straight to cybersecurity. So, but just to answer the question, simply it was the prospect of helping people to stay secure, helping them to also secure their digital, assets and maintaining trust with them. And this also goes with the organization that, I thought I would be working with. I see the role as being very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was in the past that people thought that cybersecurity was an afterthought. I think today it's a big part of what we do. And cybersecurity has also grown a lot. Once upon a time, it was just IT security, but today we've got risk, we've got SOC operations, we've got asset management. There's so many different areas. So I'm actually happy to see the growth in the information security space, of which ISC2 is a big part of that in charting that growth as that.
Yeah.
But before we get to what ISC2 does, let's come back to your story a bit. And again, this is a program and a show mainly for immigrants who are looking to actually get into this industry. And so your experience as an immigrant, I'm sure there were unique challenges that you had, as well as unique opportunities. How did those experiences shape you getting to where you are today, your career path?
Thanks so much for asking that. That's also a very, very important part of my story. And not just about me. I believe almost every immigrant, if you move to Canada during the period that I moved in 2018, one of the first things that you need to have would be to build your resilient spirit. Because sometimes for some people, it was pretty very easy for them to, just jump into what they wanted to do. But for some, it was not going to be like that. So you need to build an adaptable spirit, and you need also to be resilient. So I think my journey as an immigrant who left everything and everybody back home in Nigeria just to come and try life elsewhere in a very cold
Yes.
country. I landed in Canada when it was minus 35 degrees Celsius. So it
Wow.
kind of helped me shape how I'm also handling my career in cybersecurity, because the journey has built into me the resilient spirit. Also the ability to, to relate with people of diverse culture, of diverse, background, because that's exactly what cybersecurity eventually, ask you to do. So, going to Calgary, meeting other people, started volunteering with, white art volunteers at the Calgary International Airport. I met a lot of people. I started learning how to really relay with them. I also learned some things in a not so hard, but not so easy way on communication. So I believe that's part of my story contributed into how I have also seen my career progress since I joined cybersecurity.
That's fantastic. And because I also moved here 2018 February. And I remember one of the first things I did when I got here. Well, the first week I was playing, I was just, going around, doing snowboarding and skiing. I was like, snow! But then I think when I looked at my pocket and my pocket was empty, I was like, okay, it's time to look for money. So I think I took my resume, I printed my resume. And all of this is pre-COVID, right? I printed like 30 copies of my resume, took up the yellow pages, sent all the various job agencies that were downtown Vancouver. And I got on the train and I went downtown and I started going to the offices one by one and say, here, I am new. This is what I can do. And that's how I got my first role in here. So sometimes you've got to be very, like you said, you've got to be very resilient. You've got to think outside the box. Now, on top of what you have as a demanding job with My New Life, you also took on a leadership role with ISC2 Toronto. So what was the motivation for you to step up to that? First the director, then the president. And how has that been? What has that experience been like?
Uh, that's also a very important question. And one of the things I'm grateful for, one of the things I'm forever grateful for is the opportunity to lead the ISC2 Toronto chapter. I do not take it for granted because, my journey into ISC2 Toronto Chapter started in 2019. I was still pivoting. Then one of my professors told us to try and join a cybersecurity community. And that was how I started.
Yeah.
So I've written my SSCP certification by that time, October of 2019. So I was already, a certified guy looking for a job. So I remember vividly the first time I went to the chapter event. I was not looking for a referral. I was not looking for a job. I just wanted to give back. Coming from Calgary, where I was already a volunteer with Craig and also with White Arts volunteers in Calgary. So I wanted to give back to the community. And that was how I started with the chapter. 2020, I got invited to help plan an election. So as a scribe to that election body, which I did perfectly well, I was invited thereafter to be a director. I was like, am I sure I really wanted this? By that time, I've already gotten my second job. My first job was with Longview. I stayed 4 months. Then I moved to Scotiabank as a digital forensic investigator. So I moved to Scotiabank. Then I got invited to come and join the board. We were just, leading into COVID that time. Then the tenure expired. The president was going to step down, and I saw an opportunity to restructure the chapter. I saw an opportunity to reposition the chapter. I saw an opportunity to build a community that supports learning, that supports inclusion, that supports professional growth. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I also, I consider myself to be a pathfinder. So I believe that whatever I do in my little capacity, there will be people that I'm going to encourage, people that are going to get encouraged by my story. Like a black guy that's, just coming to Canada and was feeling lost at the time I was. So I felt like, okay, this is an opportunity to give back, to the community. I'll build something that is like community based where people can come. It's going to be a one-stop shop for cybersecurity professional, first in the GTA, then spread it out to Canada and to the rest of North America, if not the whole world.
And I dare say that ISC2 Toronto actually has experienced impressive growth under your leadership, So speaking specifically about your time and all you've done with ISC2 Toronto, since your leadership started, what was one of the biggest challenges you faced? Because like you rightly said, you were trying to reposition ISC2 Toronto, the different direction, make things a bit different. What were those challenges you faced trying to do all of that?
Each time I look back, I'm always taken aback into how it all started. It was I was a director through the pandemic, working with the then President Victoria, a very vibrant and agile lady whose leadership actually saw us through the pandemic, through the whole lockdown. So we had to put up events every time to keep the community engaged. But it was just like a meetup group. It was just like some people just putting up an event and people going. No commitment, no requirement. Then I became the president, just one smallish immigrant from Nigeria becoming the president of a 10-year-old cybersecurity community, so to say. The biggest challenge was, leading out of COVID. There was a world before COVID. Then there was a world during the pandemic where we were all locked inside the house. People were not ready to go out, or people were told not to go out. Then we were just living COVID, which means that we needed a new set of ideas. We needed a new set of we needed to learn how to also start building ourselves back into post-COVID or post-pandemic situations. And that was the biggest challenge. So all the relationship that we had, most people have changed their roles. So the relationship the chapter had maintained over time collapsed suddenly. So we needed to kind of build this all over. And,
all over again.
moving from a fully virtual environmental situation to hybrid, because that was what we needed to do. Our chapter was one of the fewest community to go back to hybrid approach. Like, we want to come out. So if government has opened this up, then we should go out and have events in person for those
Yeah,
people that are
that's true.
comfortable coming.
That's
So
true.
the major challenge was, getting a space, getting collaboration, getting partnership that will help us with a space, and also encouraging people to come out. That was the biggest challenge, which took us like a few months, but we were able to.
Hey CyberSec Migrant listeners, if you're enjoying the show, help us spread the word. Share the CyberSec Migrant podcast with your friends, your colleagues, and your network. It's the best way to help others discover our awesome content and to join the conversation. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and any other place where you get your podcast, so you never miss an episode. And do hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Your support helps us keep bringing you more valuable content, insights, and stories, and all these tips from the world of cybersecurity. And thank you for tuning in. And now, let's get back to today's episode.
Yeah. I remember when people had Zoom fatigue, and even till today, people still have Zoom fatigue. I know several people who you tell them to come to a virtual meeting, they're like, another virtual meeting, and that's what Zoom caused. That's what the pandemic caused. So we can blame COVID for all of that.
Yeah,
but the thing is, despite all of those challenges, you've built a thriving community. Like I said earlier, I think ISC2 Toronto is the largest chapter in Canada. Well, again, I would be surprised if it wasn't the largest. Toronto is the largest city in Canada, most populous city. So, but what initiatives really help drive that engagement and drive the membership growth? Because I think it's something to be, I don't have the figures off the top of my head. I was looking at that, but I think you've seen like a 300% or more like growth in membership in the last few years. That's, by any standard, that is massive. So what's your secret sauce?
Actually, we've seen growth of more than 300%. We've seen more than 500. Yeah. I think it's just intentional leadership. I will start with that.
I like that.
What exactly? That was a question I asked myself. I know some people do not like me telling the bad side of the story, where we had an event after the pandemic. The partners that were using their space, the host, told us they had everything for the event, but when we got there, they had nothing. They could only do in-person events, and we had people waiting, on the line. So we had a lot of people came out. More than 70 people came out to attend in person. More than 100 people waiting online, and it was not a nice experience. And that was the time that I asked, and I told myself that, hey, guy, if you are going to do this, then you have to be intentional. You have to be purposeful. You have to be bold. So that is the kind of leadership that I personally represent. Collaboration is a primary part of it, but you see the boldness, the intentionality is very key. So that was what we took out, like, okay, so we had to be bold. I remember one of the things that we did was to ask people, like, do you still want to continue to be a member of this chapter? Because we had plans. So that was like membership restandardization. And it's funny, some people, while we're discussing this on the board of directors, some directors were like, are you sure we want to do this? I said, yeah, we really, really want to do this, because we had over 700 names and we do not see most of them. So we needed to start something. After 10 years, maybe it's another time to look in another direction, right?
Absolutely.
And build with another set of people. So that was the strategy. So we started the restandardization of membership. Out of 775, we got 144 responses. So my directors asked me, like, okay, so Raf, what do we want to do? I said, we have 144 members. So we are going to start with that. So we started with 144, and we implemented membership fee. Again, that generated some minor talks like, are you sure people are going to pay? I said they will pay, because we are going to create value. We are going to be consistent with our event. We are going to be well structured. We are going to also be accountable, because that's
the word.
another thing for me as a leader. I really do not have any flair for leadership without accountability, because it doesn't make sense.
It's
So
true. Yeah.
I'm like, we are going to be accountable to people. We are going to be flexible. We are also going to, we won't hide our vulnerabilities. We ask for help. So
Yeah.
we started building 2 years ago. We started building with 144. We implemented membership fee. And trust me, now we have very close to 1,000 members. We have well over 900 people just in 2 years. Over time, I think I could go on mentioning things that we did, but the core of it is that people see accountability, people see intentionality, people see that we are purpose driven, people see the genuine love for the community. And that was what has been helping us.
I like that. I like it. I like the words you use: accountability, intentionality, value. I think it's hard to argue against those. So if I'm going somewhere where I know that there's accountability, there's intentionality of purpose, and there's some value I'm getting out of it, hey, what's not to like? Why wouldn't I do that, right? And thinking back to this last couple of years where you've seen all of this growth, is there any particular standout achievement that you're particularly proud of? An event, a program, a milestone, anything?
I'm
There's
proud of
several.
I'm proud of everything that we have done. That is the truth. Every step that we have made as a chapter under my leadership, trust me, I'm proud of every one of them. Just on Thursday, we had an event, and one of our former directors came, and he was kind of apologizing for not being present for a few more. And I said, hey, guy, don't do that. We have done a lot together. We have achieved a lot together, even because he was in charge of the audit and compliance. I was like, hey, guy, you remember you did this, you did that, you did that. So if I'm to start counting, I would say I'm proud of everything. We have made the process, we simplified, because I'm also one guy that loves streamlining processes. I believe no matter how perfect you think something is, there is a way you can still make it better. So we've streamlined the process of becoming a member to be very easy. Under 2 minutes, you're already a member. You get your receipts for your payment, membership deals. You get access into your membership platform. So we have been able to, we didn't just ask people to send money to us. Go pay, then you have access to your platform. So we've implemented Join It platform where we can put up an event, we can put up a discount code, sort of a thing for our members. We've implemented board management portal for the board of directors, because it could be very overwhelming for them to manage things. So onboard management portal is something that we've also implemented. And another thing is, I'm proud of our partnership with various organizations,
With the
people in the
industry,
academia. We have a very strong presence in the GTA and outside of the GTA. We receive emails every time about people wanting to do one thing or the other. And, to cap it all, we stepped up. So 2 years ago, I stepped up. I'm like, okay, why don't we have an event that brings together all the chapters and ISC2 members and cybersecurity or risk management professionals across Canada? So that was when we started the Pan Canada that you cited when we started this chat. By play, we had a second edition last year, which was well attended by over 500 people. So those are things that that we have done. But above all, we've been able to create value. We've been able to let people know that you can come together. We started our Discord server where people discuss everything. They discuss fitness, they discuss food, they discuss soccer.
I like food.
They discuss everything that is humanly possible, and our volunteers are driving that. We've built something that we are proud of.
that's the thing. You've built that community, and I think community is everything, really, especially in this industry. If you don't have the community, it's hard to it's easy to struggle, but with the community, it's always good.
I also wanted to say, cybersecurity is like a community game. It's a
Oh yeah,
sport
absolutely,
where you
absolutely.
cannot win alone. So we need to come together. We need to form an alliance because guys that we are fighting against, they also have an alliance. And it is by staying together as a community that we can defeat them.
Many hands make light work. That's the way the saying goes. Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about how cybersecurity is evolving rapidly. I was talking to someone. I was at an ISACA event. I was actually anchoring an ISACA event last night, and we're talking about how technology from 10 years ago today is most of them are obsolete already. That's how rapidly our industry changes. Unlike where you have a car from 20 years ago and it's still running perfectly today. It still gets you around everywhere. Cybersecurity is not the same. So, in your opinion, with the experience you have, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges organizations are facing today that they should pay a lot of attention to?
Thank you. That's a deep one. Okay, there are a lot of things going on. There are lots of things going on, and I know people have shifted also, with the trend because that is just the flow. But what I think organizations, due to the expanded threat landscape attack surface, I think it will make sense if organization could focus more, on the identity and access management space.
Yes, absolutely. That's my area.
I
I'm
know
an
people call
IAM
you
person.
Mr. Zero Trust, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I believe that organizations or professionals should pay more attention to identity and access management. How are we granting access? How are we maintaining or reviewing access? How are we, evoking access? All those things are very key because at the long run, no matter what you do within your space, if you're not maintaining or managing well how people are accessing your landscape, your environment, your
Yeah, that's
organization,
true.
it
That's
becomes
true.
a big issue. I believe it's better to deter than to chase out. So it's better you do
Absolutely.
not,
I agree.
yeah,
100%.
deter better than you chasing out. That's going to cause a lot of noise. I also believe that third party risk is also very important. So
Mm,
organizations
mm,
should
mm,
take
mm.
adequate measures, not only on their third party, because what about the third party of your third party? You should have interest
You
about
don't
that.
know.
So you
Yeah.
don't know. So you should know, at least to a large extent, you should know that, okay, if I'm dealing with you, Mr. Femi, who are you dealing with? So I want to
Mm-hmm.
know the security
Yes,
posture, not exactly, but I would like to
exactly.
have an idea of the security posture um, of your own third party. It's part of the
Yeah,
supply chain. You
yeah,
should
yeah.
be very interested in that. And the third one, which I would say is the last for now, is that organizations should pay close attention to AI and automation.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
is a lot which is also going to help them to think strategically about about retaining their employees. So AI and automation comes with a lot of benefits. I know people make a lot of noise on AI is going to steal their job, AI is going to do this.
it's
Maybe
not going to steal our
organization
jobs.
maybe organizations should shift their attention, educate more on
Mm,
upskilling.
yeah,
So
yeah,
because AI has come to help us, it's going to do a lot of manual processes. So we should think about that. We should think about the security of our AI products. We should think about the security of our AI system or software or AI initiative. We should build security into that particular process
yeah,
because otherwise
yeah.
it's going to be a big issue. So I believe organizations should think about IAM. They should think about supply chain third party risk, and they should also think
Think about
about
AI.
the benefits and the risk of AI and automation.
Absolutely. I completely and totally agree. I was talking to someone recently. Well, I gave a talk last year And I was talking about if you look at some of the biggest breaches from the last 2-3 years, they've all been sort of identity related. So someone is stealing an identity, and I said to people, no one is going to be. Well, some people are, but most people are not brute forcing their way in anymore. Somebody's going to look for. I'm going to steal legitimate credentials, log in as a legitimate user, and elevate my privileges. So if you don't have a process in place to manage privileged access, to manage identity and access, to the IEEE for identity, you are going to be in big trouble, because the truth is, how do you defend against somebody who is supposed to be there?
And
You
the
have to
person
write
is there. So the
exactly.
person is there legitimately. You
Yeah.
don't
So
know.
how do you
And
defend?
they could be in your environment for a very long time
Months.
for months
Can you
before they
remember
find.
SolarWinds? It was so long. And I'm just bringing that to AI. I was telling, every time people say, oh, AI is going to take your jobs, I'm like, no, AI is not going to take our jobs. I think AI is a fantastic tool. AI is everywhere. There's even this language learning app. They're not paying me, so I'm not going to say their name. That now has a version of their app you can pay to get powered by AI. And I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
everybody's just going to build everything. Even now, Microsoft has they have new laptops that there's a button called the Copilot AI button. So what does that do? What does that do? You press a button and magically your computer becomes an AI computer. I'm like, it's all marketing, but there's a lot more, like you rightly said, to AI. AI is actually a tool. I don't think AI is taking anyone's jobs. I don't think AI is going to put us out of job, but AI can actually enhance us. It's what we do with that. And that leads me to my next question. What are organizations like, professional organizations? Because I think the bulk of where we need to go will be driven by professional organizations who are in this space. So what do you think, what kind of role do you think an organization like ISC2 can play in the industry to help tackle these new challenges and sort of make them to the forefront that we can actually improve on getting those challenges resolved?
That is also a very good question. Yeah, what we can do is, I would say the first thing is to continue doing what we are doing, which is to encourage conversations, dialogue, engagement on this particular topic, or any topic related to cybersecurity, risk management, and the likes, which we've been doing. We've been part of conferences. We've been part of a lot of high-level conversations across the industry on this particular topic. So I believe we should keep doing that. And other communities also should continue to do that. Enable a platform for, localized knowledge sharing. Because, like, I have a talk with ISC2 Chapter in 2 weeks. I cannot just come and pick, tailor the content based on my experience here in Toronto and deliver it to Ibadan, right? It's not just going to work because
It will be relevant.
It will be highly irrelevant. So I believe communities should localize the knowledge sharing. We have some things that are common, like baseline for everybody in cybersecurity, in IT audit, in risk management, in compliance. But at the same time, we want to tailor it to the local community to drive conversation. They should also invest more of their time and resources into skill development, which may also be part of, knowledge sharing may be part of it, but it may also be specialized, like, partner with other communities, partner with other organizations, partner with whoever is interested in also to, build up the skill that would be relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. And the communities like ISC2 is also there to empower professionals, give opportunities also for people to develop their personal skills and also provide mentorship. Mentorship will go a long way. We may not be able to provide sponsorship for people, but we can, within, and we are doing that. That was why I started by saying that we will continue, or we should continue doing what we are already doing. We have a mentorship program that is currently running. It's going to end in a few weeks, and we will start another one. Provide a mentorship for people, provide access to also senior leadership, just for them to come, share their ideas, help people also, to prepare pass their certifications, organize event that helps newcomers or cybersecurity enthusiasts, to land their first role. You can only provide resources because we do not hire, right? So we cannot just hire people, but we can enable people. I believe technology is a business enabler. The same way I believe that communities like ISC2 Toronto Chapter should be a community enabler too, right? Provide mentorship, provide access to thought leadership, organize focus group on issues that are affecting the local community, which we are already doing. Yeah,
that's absolutely true. I think I always tell people you can't overemphasize the importance of networking, of personal development. It can never be too much. But again, just since we're on that thought, how crucial really is, networking or personal development? Is that the best way to build a personal network? Is it important to have all the certifications? This is a very interesting conversation. Certification or no certification, networking, personal development, certifications, are they really important? How do you build a good professional network?
So I don't know, maybe you saw my last poll on LinkedIn. It's still running.
Yes, I did. I saw it. I actually clicked. I submitted a response to that poll.
Okay, so it's still running because I just, I was just thinking and I came up with, okay, so how else can we help people? Right? Like, how else can we help people that are trying to break into cyber? How else? We are providing networking opportunities for people, right, to come to our event. And that's why we decided long time ago when we were going back to in-person event that it will be good to have an hybrid event. If you want to come in person, come and meet people. So I believe networking is key. And I used to tell people that you need to have what you want to achieve through the networking that you're doing. I'm not going to state how to do it. I believe there are a lot of resources out there that can help people to go into networking better. I'm also still learning it. But I believe that networking is key. It gives you an opportunity to engage other people, to know what other people are thinking, to know the direction the industry where you are is going, right? Then, and I always tell people, and I must say it here too, that do not put your frustration about landing a job or changing a role on people you're meeting at network event, because you're just going to put them off. They're just going to start avoiding you. Just create a relationship. Maybe eventually they're going to feel comfortable to know more about you and to know more about what you're doing. Maybe something good will come out of it. But it's good to network while you're not even looking for something. And I have that question. What do you think, which of the three options would help newcomers in cybersecurity? Is it to write certification? Is it to build home lab? Or is it to join a local community?
Yeah.
So I know all the three are very important. I know all the three. You, as a cybersecurity professional, it's like you're seeing an accountant in Nigeria and you're not an ICANN certified, you're not ACA. I have a couple of friends that we finished school together, right from there where we were in still serving. They became ACA. Yeah. So it's like, how do you want to convince people that you're a cybersecurity professional without certification? With nothing. So it's hard. And I'm not saying people should. I didn't start my cybersecurity career with CISSP. I got my CISSP 2 years ago. So I started with SSCP.
Yeah.
Certification is important. Certification is very key. Career progression or you changing a job. And also building a home lab is important, right? That is where you get your hands dirty, and joining a professional community like our home, like ISACA, like a couple of them, is also very important because that is where you're going to meet people like you. So I think it's certification is good. It's kind of solidify your position as either industry leader, or it solidifies your position as a professional, which is key.
Absolutely.
So certification is good for people that are trying to either, advance in cybersecurity or pivot to cybersecurity.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I always like to use the analogy of I live in Vancouver. I live in BC. I travel to Toronto and I want to rent a car. They're going to ask me for my driver's license. When I show them my driver's license, that means that they can confidently give me the keys of a Range Rover, knowing that I will not crash it because I have been licensed to drive. But if I go there and say, give me your Range Rover and I don't have anything to prove, why should they give me the keys to the car? Because there's no proof that I can drive. But a responsible, reliable third party, in this case, your certification body, either ISC2, either ISACA, either your EC Council, has tested me and can validate that I have the requisite skills. So it might be like, oh, you're getting certifications. Certifications are always important because they help. Certifications will always open doors or help you step even higher. And then people don't focus on, oh, why am I, I'm able to get out of certifications. That's not the reason why. The essence is to actually open doors to showcase your competence, your expertise. So that is very important. So thank you for your insight on that.
Yeah,
now
maybe I should also add something very important too. Like, I also tell people that strategy is how you win. Strategy
exactly
is how you win. So you must build your own strategy, even with the certifications, with the skills that you know, with the right soft skills that you also have, and by also belonging to professional communities, you must have a working strategy that will get you what you want when you want it. Just to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's come back to all the good work you're doing with ISC2 Toronto Chapter. In the next few years, any exciting developments we can be looking out for? Any new things on the horizon that we can keep our ears peeled for so that we can jump on it when it happens?
In the next few years, the truth of the matter, I won't be the president by then.
I know that. But again,
I won't be. But one thing is that I'm confident of the direction we are, preparing for the chapter. So the chapter is arguably number one in Canada, which is what we want, right? We have solidified, we are maintaining that. I personally we want the chapter to be number one, not by number one by influence, number one by values, number one by achievement. We don't need to be. I don't believe in a lot of numbers. That was why we started with 144 instead of continue with 770 something. I believe that in the next few years, even after I step down from being the president and sitting on the board, the chapter will go on due to the foundation that we've set for the chapter. Yeah. The chapter will go on to become number one in North America. Let's conquer the region first.
Yes, so I agree.
Go ahead and be number one in North America. Show people how we do it. The north side of the border here.
The border, and, exactly.
And we continue to drive cross-sector collaboration and leadership development. We want to do more on the side of advocacy. I believe we can do more. Our members can stand up to work with various government bodies, be it community, be it provincial, be it federal, whatever. Just work more with government on advocacy, work more in securing our school boards. I know a lot of things are happening across those areas too. So we want to see our members, we want to see our chapter also stepping up to help in advocacy. That involves talking more with government, talking more with chambers of commerce. We have a lot of small and medium scale enterprises that are finding it difficult also to be cyber resilient. What can we do to help them? So that is the kind of direction that we are we are thinking. That's the kind of direction that we want the chapter to be in the next few years.
Absolutely fantastic. It's been a very interesting conversation today. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts, final piece of advice for the audience who's listening? Anything you want to just throw out there and say, hey, take this little nugget. If you get nothing from today, just get this little nugget and it will help you.
I think for me, there is a saying. I read Sam Adeyemo's book first time between 2004 and 2005, and I can't forget the book. The book says start from where you are. So it's a lovely book. Start from where you are. So I'm going to tell people that start from where you are. And I'm going to add something to it. With what you have.
You have.
With what you may think, yes, I've been a psychologist all my life. I've been in philosophy. Yes, you have something. I studied Yoruba from school. You have something. So start, it's just left for you to articulate that thing that you have. So I would tell people, immigrants or people that are watching this, to start from where they are, start with what they have, because that is going to you cannot just take that out of your life. Whatever it is that you're coming into this country with, you cannot take it out. You are not just starting life, you are just continue living in another country. No matter the challenges, no matter what life is throwing at you at the moment, I would say that start from where you are, start with what you have. Get mentors. Get people that are ready to listen to you when you want to rant, when you want to complain, when you feel life is not fair to you and you want to talk. Get people that want to, as in, they will just listen to you and they will just, okay, I've heard you. Then you work things out together. And maybe the last thing would be accountable. Be accountable. Your progress, your success, everything about your life, will require you to be accountable. Have an accountability partner. Somebody that you discuss your progress, your growth, you discuss your plans with them, and they want to see you achieve that. So an accountability can help you with that.
That is fantastic. Fantastic. I think I couldn't have put it any better myself. That's been very insightful. You've shared so many nuggets. You've shared your journey, your leadership experience, insights, and you've given our audience a lot of actionable takeaways. So for this, we're exceedingly grateful. To the audience, if you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like and share. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're on the cybersecurity field, or you're looking to get into it, and you're in the GTA, check out ISC2 Toronto. I'll put a link in the description down below to the ISC2 Toronto website. I also put a link to Raf's LinkedIn page as well. He drops off a lot of nuggets in there, so go there. But please, no stalking. Just get some good insights from the content he posts. And I want to say on behalf of the audience, thank you, Raf, for coming on today. It's been very nice to have you here. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in again. And until next time, on the next episode of the CyberSec Migrant, this is Femi signing out. Thank you.